Welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com. This is THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me as he usually does when we talk UNC basketball recruiting is our very own Clint Jackson, Director of Basketball Recruiting here at THI. And Clint, welcome aboard. Good to have you back.
Appreciate it, Andrew. I'm excited to talk about this guy because this guy may be my favorite player in 2021.
Well, if anybody knows your work, they know that you're talking about Chet Holmgren, the 7-footer from Minnesota. We're not going to get into the specifics of where he might go and when everything starts to open up after the shutdown here, who he may go visit or who's going to watch him or anything like that. What we're really going to focus on here is his game. And you and I have spoken a lot of times, obviously not while being recorded, about his game. And I actually really enjoy listening to you talk about him as much as I have any guy you've covered in recruiting, because the way you marvel at his game and the way you describe his game, because it's so unique. So take it from there, man. What are all the things about Chet Holmgren's game? And he is a UNC target, by the way. We've confirmed that multiple times, and you think that he's more of a UNC target now than maybe he was a few months ago. So we've got that on the table. So take it from there. What are all the things you like about this kid's game?
I have a feeling this podcast, I will probably talk a lot more than you.
That's okay. I think a lot of people would do the thumbs up thing right now on the podcast.
I don't know about that, but I describe Chet Holmgren as a freaking unicorn. He is a guy who plays nothing like anyone else in his class. He's actually about 7'1". He's got a super long wingspan. He's got incredibly narrow shoulders, which you wouldn't think would be a good thing. But the way he plays, it helps him sliver through double teams. It helps him snake through the lane. It helps him get off shots and become more difficult to defend. He's a 7-foot guy with a wing skill set, but he also has incredible athletic ability. And we're talking moving side to side, blocking shots. The apex of his jump is ridiculous. He's probably the best shot blocker in 2021. In fact, I don't know anybody who could rival his shot blocking. But he's a guy who at 7'1" can handle the ball and shoot the ball like a 6'4" guy. He's got pro moves. Now, he's super skinny. You know, people will see him and go, wow, he looks like, Daniel LaRusso and Gumby had a love child. But he is a complete mismatch, and I absolutely love his game.
Okay, so let's start down low, because if he's 7 feet tall, the natural inclination is for everybody to think, okay, what's his post game like? You said he slithers. You can't always slither down the blocks, but when I envision that, does that mean he's a guy that is going to draw a ton of fouls because he slithers? Or is he going to get a lot of plus ones yet? Is he maybe not strong enough to get the plus ones? Kind of take us into that element of his game.
You know, it's funny because anybody who watches him play or scouts him or writes about him will say he has a lack of strength. But here's the thing about him. I don't want to say like a Chihuahua, they got a lot of fight in him, but like he is actually really tough. And he'll go right at a guy like Day'Ron Sharpe, who is an absolute 6'10", 250-pound man with broad shoulders and a well-developed chest and strong legs, and there's no fear. And he will hold his own physically despite being 60 pounds lighter, 50 pounds lighter than a Day'Ron Sharpe. Just, is he going to go to the post? Is that his primary way that he's going to play? No. But he will go down there and get you a bucket, but he is best when you put him in space and you isolate him and you take advantage of those mismatches. He's going to be a guy that you're going to have to use the right way. You're going to have to sell him that you're going to use him the right way. And you're going to have to clear the floor and let him go to work, because I haven't seen anybody that can stop him one-on-one. If they're as quick and agile as him, they're usually too small. And if they're as big as him, they can't stay with him on the dribble. He's got just an incredible array of isolation moves, spins, stutter steps, step throughs, crossovers, step backs, and his release is so high, you can't get to it.
Does he do those things from basically all spots on the floor, or is there one area where the step back or the through the legs pull up jumper kind of thing is more effective than in other parts of the court?
Great question. All over the floor. We saw him at USA, which USA is where the best get battle tested. That is the most intense competitive environment I see every year. And if you can do it at USA camp with those 15 coaches running around and that culture of playing hard every minute, and you can go at the top 50 players in the country, you can do it anywhere. We saw it at the NBA Top 100 camp. That's where I've seen him twice, NBA Top 100 camp and USA. And I love, how much I love Day'Ron Sharpe. Chet Holmgren got the best of him in both events.
Is he a baseline guy? Can he play the baseline? Because you've talked about all the other stuff, extending, but I think one of the lost arts in basketball, people talk about the mid-range game. I think playing the baseline, using the baseline is a lost art in the game today. Can he do that?
Hey, I think he can do everything. You can put him anywhere. Wherever he gets the ball, he can make a play from. Off the dribble, shooting jump shots. He's a really good shooter. He's not a power guy by any means, but he can play with power, if that makes sense. I think he can play everywhere.
Okay, you mentioned something about his toughness. Is he an emotional player? Is he the kind of guy that he's going to go into the opponent's arena and the student section is going to hate him at the first TV timeout? No,
I don't think so. I think he plays with a again, I keep going back to toughness. He plays with perseverance. He's going to play through. He's going to have a stoic look on his face. He's not going to be a guy that everybody hates because he's not a showboat. He's not I know Carolina fans hated Greg Paulus and they hated Christian Laettner and they hated guys like that. He's not like that. He's got a very calm demeanor. He doesn't draw a lot of emotional attention, but he's just a fantastic player. And I think his upside is through the roof. I think he's an NBA lottery.
It sounds to me like he's a guy that would fit in any system, basically.
Yeah, I just think that if you put him and you chain him to the post and you want to set him up on the block, he's not going to go there. I think he's going to go to he's going to look at pro options too. So I would say G League will probably be somebody he would consider going pro out of high school if he's allowed to, will be something he considered. But if he goes to college, I think he's a 1 to 2 year player, probably a 1 year player. And I think he's a guy that you're going to have to use him the right way, and that's allowing him to play on the perimeter and inside. All right,
we got about 15 seconds before we have to close this out. Real quickly, Carolina and Chet Holmgren, what's up there? Give me about 10 or 12 seconds.
I think they got some work to do. I'm going to check and see if who's still involved in his recruitment. I know they've had some objections with Carolina before they got involved, so hopefully Carolina's able to message those objections. But he doesn't want to stay a long time in college, and he needs to be utilized the right way. I think those are two things that UNC would probably need to pay attention to.
All right, my friend. Thank you. For Clint Jackson, this is Andrew Jones. You've been watching another UNC basketball recruiting podcast right here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and click like, subscribe, get notifications of all of our stuff that we pass on out here. Thanks for stopping by.